generation. In particular, Barry Jenkins. Young people understand this young man made 10, 15, 20 short films before he got the opportunity to make Moonlight. So never give up. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, P. Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
With no covers. This is a special edition of No Covers today. What's going on, bro? Solomon, how you doing? Good to see you online today. This is a special edition. We normally do our show on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 12:30 to 1:30. Today, however, I got a call from the bishop, and when he calls, I respond. You know, timed it manner. So we're gonna do a special show today. We want to talk about these displaced families. We want to talk about our community. We want to talk about fixing the problem. So as you're tuning in, as you're listening today, if you have some solutions, type them in to some of the subjects that we talk about and share some of your response. If you want to call in, I don't know how we're going to do this, but if you need to call in, there's something really on your mind, 910-765-0099 is the number. I try to get you in, but I think when these two gentlemen start talking, they're two preachers, y'all, so I might not be able to get that much of y'all in. You know how they start preaching, you know how it goes. So we're going to go for broke. I got Pastor Robert Campbell in the house, and, of course, Bishop James Utley. You had something on your mind that you want to talk about. I'm gonna let you go, and then we go from there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bishop, for giving me the opportunity to come on your show, and my brother, thank you for coming in on your day. But really what I wanted to talk about is the Market North. People there have been displaced, along with so many others. But the difference with Market North apartments, it's when it happened. When other apartments were shut down, people were off work and they couldn't, kids were out of school, and there were other people there to help them. Well, this community got shut down a little later, and right now these families are trying to move out and they need help. And so what I want to talk about is something I'm calling community helping hands. Excuse me. Community helping hands. And we're looking at this Saturday and Sunday trying to pull the community together. There's about 53 families that need to move. Annie Edwards, Annie Anthony has been working with Cape Fear volunteers trying to do it, but her biggest complaint is you got a bunch of women out there trying to move people out of apartments. And it's not because men are lazy, but the fact of the matter, Monday through Friday, you're lazy if you're not at work. And with people coming on the heels of the storm, many people have got to go back to work, and there's just not enough people there to help them. So what I'm asking the churches, the community, to come together this Saturday and this Sunday, and let's go help our community. Let's, especially the Market North apartments. This is subsidized housing. So if anything, if anybody needs help, it's this community that needs help. And what's interesting, our white brothers show up sometimes more than we do. And I am calling on them, but I'm calling on us as well, that we might be able to help ourselves. Now, when I say that, I'm just talking about helping people that were, I mean, if it was 30 years ago or 40 years ago, I'd have been in one of those houses needing somebody to come and help me. And I'm excited to be able to extend a hand. So here's the plan. Here's the plan. I've talked with United Way. I've talked with Cape Fear Volunteers. We're reaching out to corporate. I want to reach out to the churches, and I want to ask the pastors, hey, listen, maybe you can get 5 or 10 men or people. If you can lift a gallon of milk, you can come and help us. But I'm asking the churches if they will get behind this. And I'm going to use Cape Fear Volunteers website because they have a tool there where you can go online and you can volunteer. We realize that it takes about 6 people 3 hours to move an apartment. So what we're doing is working with Cape Fear Volunteers and United Way, and we're renting out the trucks. I think we have right now.
Let's give that website to Cape Fear Volunteers.
I can give it to you, but it's a long thing. I think if you just go to Cape Fear Volunteer and Google it, you can see it. I'm going to be sending a text out to all of the pastors I know and leaders I know, and I'll give them the link there. But as we talk to the community, it takes about 6 hours. We rent 10 trucks for Saturday and Sunday. Now, they're doing this work Monday through Friday, but so many people are at work and they can't help. So we're trying to focus our effort on Saturday and Sunday. So we're going to be getting together Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you go to Cape Fear Volunteer Center, you can see where you can volunteer. You can volunteer specific hours. So if you want to go from 9 to 12, and in your mind, you should be thinking, I can move one family. Or if you spend the whole day, you can move 3 families. And what we're looking at is there's 53 families that have to move.
So they have somewhere definitely to move to.
What we know is they have something definitely to put their furniture. And we know that we don't know exactly where they're moving to, but all of them have somebody's couch.
Pastor Rob, also give a phone number that they can call for those that don't have the web. Where can they call? Can they call your church, or where can they call?
No, I'll Google it while we're talking and give you Cape Fear's number.
Let's get their number so we can give it out.
Okay.
Because people are reading back now and saying give a phone number.
Sure, absolutely. We'll do that as we go forward. Thank you. And I'm pulling up the Sign Up Genius that I was sent as the link. And I think it's a good thing to use Cape Fear Volunteers because this is what they do. And Annie has been doing this for some time. I might be able to give you the link here in a moment. And I don't know if I could send it to you and you could put it on your screen here. So I'm looking for that phone number as we are talking. And but I'll find the phone number so we can put it up in a minute. And thank you, Bishop. You're going to go look for it. But what we're going to be doing is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturday and on Sunday. And what we're asking is if you've got a truck, bring your truck. If you got a van, bring your van. Bring your students. Bring your high school students to come out there that can, and maybe you can even bring kids that are 13 and older. You know why I'm saying that, because a teenager is going to be a lot more helpful than a 9-year-old. Right. And but what I really want to do is I don't want to forget these people. Right. These people that they happen to be dealing with this at the tail end of the storm. And now with what has happened in Florida, the focus is starting to shift, and we need to help our community.
I noticed something you say other folks sometimes show up and we don't show up. And that's a big factor in what we're doing in this effort. We always have to depend on somebody else. And I'm a big proponent of us doing for self and taking care of self. And it's our family, y'all. This is our family.
Absolutely.
Family, I had family in the Glen that had to move, so I went through the same thing about a week or two ago. Can I ask a hard question?
Sure.
What are we going to come back to that in just a second. I got to have a hard question because I would be remiss if I get you on the air and you on the air and don't ask this question. What are we going to do? Because here's the theory. Here's what's circulating in the community. What's circulating in the community among most of the people are that the Glen and Market North are in two strategic areas. One, the Glen is being closed down and it's across the street from UNCW. It was built 20 years ago. When the Glen was built, there was no phantom that UNCW is big as it is now. We look at all the apartments that are being built behind UNCW and across the street from the Glen that are college ready for students to pick money. That's number one. We look at the Glen. When we look at Market North, when Market North was built, Albion wasn't built, and that pretty nice tennis court that many people in Market North can't afford to go to wasn't built. Duck and dive. So the question the community asking is, what are we going to do as leaders to ensure that when these apartments reopen, these same citizens that are being displaced are put back in there? How can we get something on contract? How can we get something on paper? How can we get a solution? Because the theory is when these apartments come back, those residents won't be able to afford them. Because if I build a house 20 years ago and you're going to give me FEMA money, I'm not going to build the same house. I'm going to build a house for that population that's sitting over there at UNCW. I'm going to build an apartment complex that goes to Dunk and Dive and plays volleyball.
And we hope that Market North, they're actually getting subsidized income now for doing it, so that when they come back, they should be able to come back to Market North.
If it comes back that way. But if it comes back regular, really, if I'm a realtor, I'm building for the future now. That's Duck and Dive sitting there. We don't play volleyball. I know who play volleyball.
Right.
Yeah, but Market North, I can't speak to the Glens, but Market North is subsidized housing. Right. So, and the way that works, and I don't know if they did tax credits, but many times they do the tax credits. And then when you build because it's a public-private partnership, that it has a requirement of 30 years that it has to be in that category. And then after that, if they start renovating that property, they start adding more years to it. So the chances of that property still being a subsidized housing is almost assured.
That's okay.
Yeah, because the bottom line, I don't know if you know it, but East Carolina Community Development Incorporation, which I'm the chair of their board right now, we are the ones building the housing over in Creekwood. That is subsidized housing, and we have to keep that housing affordable for 30 years. And New Beginning is put in an application to build 142 units of senior family housing, which I'm believing that we'll have our approval in January. Same thing. It has to stay affordable for 30 years, and then you can go and get additional funds. And when you get those additional funds, you have to obligate to keep that property affordable.
Because that was the question the families that were here asked. It's like, well, are we going to be able to go back in? Or are we going to be guaranteed slots to go back in once it's built? So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So this is going on this Saturday. We're moving these. We are going to move these families in the communities this Saturday. 53.
Yes. And so what we're looking at, again, did you find the number? Were you able to find it? Okay. What we're looking at, it really is, I'm really asking the churches too. I'm not asking any church to stop their service. I'm asking you to modify it to a point of, on Sunday, why not cut 10 people out of your service to come and help the community? Why not? Let's serve the community too. Or if you may be able to go in and say your service ends at 11:30, then go in and sign up from 12 o'clock.
Dress down.
Yeah, dress down. It's amazing. I tell you, we were fortunate that right after the storm, I canceled my normal service and I asked everybody to dress down, and they came. And I said only the people I wanted to come to the service were those who were going to go into the community and work. Everybody else looked at the service online. I had about 60 or 70 people show up. We went right into the community, and it was the best thing. My people were just enthused about helping one another. And I've been very, very proud of the churches and the synagogues and the mosque. Man, I've never seen our community come together like I've seen in this season. and I know now that people have gotten tired and the thrill is gone. A lot of people may not answer the call. That's why I'm glad that you came in so we could begin to put the call out at short notice,
Right.
because I just found out about the need. And is this the number here?
That's the number there.
Okay. So I'll recite the number, 910-392-8180. And the person there, more than likely, you're going to get is Annie Anthony. Again, the number is 910-392-8180. And here in a few moments, we might be able to put the link there that will show you how to go in and volunteer, because that would be helpful as well. And maybe I can give you the link and you can put it up. But here's the exciting thing for me as I begin to ask the community, ask the churches. Maybe your pastor didn't hear this, and I'm going to send text messages to all the pastors and imams and leaders that I know, and ask them to consider volunteering. Let's help our community. And you're blessed to be able to help. You know, I mean,
Right.
We're blessed to be able to help. If it were not for the grace of God, there go I.
Yeah.
You know, we could be sitting there saying, man, how am I going to rent a truck? How am I going to get some people to come over here and help me move? And so if your pastor doesn't know about it, I would ask you to mention it to him.
Right.
And even if you only did 3 hours or 6 hours, what a great gift you can give to your fellow man and fellow woman, because these people that we're helping to move, this is me.
Yeah.
This is me.
It's wonderful you called on the church, because I know I know a lot of the men of the community are actually working for a change. Because what's happening is, I know in our situation at Link, a lot of men Friday, Saturday, and Sunday going to make that $120 a day. So a lot of people that are normally wouldn't be working. So those of us that have the 9 to 5 jobs Monday through Friday need to come out and support, because a lot of people that you might count on, organization, I know everybody at Lincoln's going on Saturday because they're going to make money right now. They got hurricane money and they are gone because they can get that card for that one day's work. Some of them going as far as Jacksonville working, some of them going ahead. So a lot of the men are out there on those construction jobs. So we need as many church folks as we can.
And this also is another way to give back. As soon as he'll be ready to give you that email address, how you can make contact with them. But, you know, I told him Bible study the other night about what is true intimacy. When you look at true intimacy it is what you're getting for yourself when you look at it from a secular standpoint. But from a spiritual standpoint, true intimacy is what you can do to serve others. It's given into them. And that is what God intended. See, sometimes we look at the way we see things on a secular side, from the natural side. When a person is genuine intimacy, we think about being close to someone, and then, but in that relationship is what I'm getting for myself. But in Christ, true intimacy is how can I look to serve others, and how am I going to give back? So here's an opportunity for you to give back to your brother, and we are our brother's keeper.
And if you get back, it's coming back.
It's gonna come back.
I was listening to John Gray, and he had a sermon he did right after the hurricane, and he said, because he's a new church down in Greenville, South Carolina, and he made a statement. And the pastor, I was like, he said that. He said the thought hit his mind, because for the church, that's tithes and offerings.
What's tithe and offering?
You know, as he has to think about that he's missing a day.
I'm
tired of it. I was shocked that he said it. He said we had to debate whether to shut the church down or not on that hurricane, because we're going to miss a whole a day here. And he said, but he thought about it, and as he prayed about it, he know it comes back.
Absolutely.
So they don't have to worry about the money being lost. Don't have to worry about that. They have to make the decision you're making. You're making a decision based on duty, not based on mortgage you got to be paid, or bills that got to be paid, lights that got to be paid. You're making decisions that say, I'm going to take my church, trim the service down, and take my people into the streets based on the duty of the ministry.
And it goes into reciprocity, the law of reciprocity. You're sowing, and then you will reap. You're planting seeds, and then you're sowing seeds also back into someone else. And so that it all works together, reverberates.
Absolutely. I would tell you that I would be lying if I said I didn't think about the financial loss of shutting down the service. But I've seen just what you're saying. It's so true. We shut down our service. We didn't have a service before that week. We also, for those who were devastated by the storm, our church gave $1,000 per family. For those that had to move, we paid their moving costs at $300 per family. We maybe gave $12,000, $13,000 in that on top of losing the finances. But I would tell you, God has blessed us. People that knew we were doing that have sent us checks. Our people have given those who did not experience loss. Guess what? I asked them to be a blessing, and the giving actually went up after storm, which doesn't happen. But I think if you let money become the ruling factor, you'll always be a slave. You'll be a slave. Almighty dollars, wasn't it? What was an urban prophet? Money, 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 money.
Yeah, money come to me now.
No, money, 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 money.
That's it.
Some people gotta have it, but I don't think we can. Man, money can't rule us.
Right.
We rule money.
Right.
We need to figure out how to make that thing work for us 24/7, 365. And that's what we have to do. And I think when we invest in good ground, these people are good ground. These are our people. They're good
Well, you
ground.
have to also say, Pastor Campbell, that you can't let money make you, but we must make money. Most people, when they get money, it makes them. So we have to turn around and allow ourselves to make money and not let money make us.
We gotta understand the folks that we're dealing with, especially Mark and Nora. You can be a comfort to them. Having gone through this with somebody, my son, I had to go through this with my son. So he works at a hospital. Him and his mom are out of town, and they come back to the Glen. And they thinking it's okay. Next day they get a note on the paper. My son is actually in mental crisis right now. I had to go through therapy. Hitting walls, but he went through therapy because his life has been altered.
Yes.
He has to put all of his belongings in the back of a truck, try to maintain his job, try to look out for his mama who has congestive heart failure. He's going through this, and he's like, the anger is like,
palatable.
Why me? Why this?
Yeah.
And we had to go through really therapy with him. So you got to understand, these families, when your life has been uprooted like that, just seeing your face out there helping them can do them so much service and so much therapy to help them comfort them, just like a funeral or death,
Dawood, you're right on point, man, because they're in shock.
Right.
And they don't even know how much shock they're in, but they're in shock, and you don't think well when you're in shock. And that's the other thing I want to talk about, is that our people perish for a lack of knowledge. I keep saying that, and this thing has taught me I will never get caught flat-footed again on this. I will not, because I'm using this as an opportunity to build greater alliances. I'm getting my feet and my seat at the table so I can speak for those who don't have a voice.
Right.
And I'm just determined to do it. And but here's the thing too. They have a deadline to be out of these apartments. But I want the people to know, man, I'm not moved by that deadline, because here's the facts. If the people don't move by that deadline, then the department will have to take them to court. It ain't like they can, Monday is the deadline, they're going to come and put your stuff out Tuesday. No, and they don't want us to know our rights. Right. The fact of the matter, they would have to then go and evict that family, which would take another 5 to 10 days to go to court. And then if you go to court and then you protest it, there's another 10 days.
Well, it's 45 days all total with the eviction process.
Yes, it's
that's legally.
Yes. So as we start dealing with the apartment complex, I know they're in a hard spot. They're not doing anything, to hurt people, but the deal is they're trying to fix their property. But we need to be informed and educated. Just because they tell you, now I understand that they have given financial incentive. I understand they gave them $500 up front, and they'll give them $500 when they move out, which is phenomenal. Right. And so the owners of the apartment complex are in a hard spot. They're trying to do what's right. Yeah. I think everybody is. But at the rubber hits the road, you need to know what your rights are. Right. So and they don't want to have to go and evict people. So I think you could negotiate even if you don't get out by time and they try to withhold that $500. I think I would call and say, listen, I couldn't get out by Monday, but you don't want to take me to court.
Exactly.
Give me that $500. Give me that $500. I'll be out by Friday.
Right.
Because you don't want to. If you take me to court, we going to court.
Longer.
I'm gonna be here.
I'm gonna be longer. It's gonna take 35 days.
Yeah. So I think the people need to be informed, and you need to speak up for yourself.
Right.
And that's the other thing, man. Through this whole storm process, I found out I had to educate myself about FEMA. I mean, I didn't know they had this crazy process that they're going to try you got to use your insurance first, then go to FEMA, and then go to SBA. And then I'm thinking, what is the Small Business Alliance being in here? Well, and you go to SBA, and then if you get rejected there, you come back to FEMA. And then the other thing I found out is if you get rejected at any point, you need to go back and challenge that. You need to appeal.
And a lot of people just they get rejection and they're
well, you know.
I'm gonna tell you, it reminds me when I was at the school and we were doing long-term suspension.
I remember.
And I would tell families, appeal to the school board.
Appeal.
Yeah.
Just because this go back and appeal to the school board, get another hearing.
But then they don't want to face. They don't want to face that music.
That's because when we're told no, we've been told no so many times. And we as a people have been told no, we just automatically accept it. We just no. My son, I called my son. Well, they said no. I said, we'll go back to appeal.
You have rights.
You got rights.
Absolutely.
And so the way they got them running around is FEMA is the last. People gonna make you go through everybody before they spend that money. We in our mind think with FEMA money just coming and drop.
Yes.
Work that way.
And that's the thing too. FEMA is not designed to make you whole.
Right.
They're not gonna.
It's
to help you get back on track, but they're not designed to make you whole.
Exactly.
But I think too, man, we got to be informed enough, because if I can get an SBA loan, maybe I look at a loan that I got for 9%.
Right.
I'm getting this for 1 to 3%.
I'm just saying. You know, if I gotta get paid, I've got to show receipts where I'm paying rent, but I'm sleeping on my brother's couch. You know the difference in sleeping on his couch for free and having to pay rent is a contract.
First thing I told my son, I said, where you going, make sure you get a contract for that couch.
That's right.
That couch is going to cost me $400 a week. That's what it costs.
That's what it costs.
$400 a month.
Let me say this real quick, too, before we get ready to close. We got another show.
Okay.
Frankie Robinson is emphasizing that there's going to be a workshop at Ephesus on this week. So, Don, give them that. You're closer. My eyes are not as great as yours.
That's tonight at 6 o'clock.
Oh, it is tonight.
It is. We talked
about it. And
Frankie, he's going to get me for not even saying that. We talked about the healing. Ephesus has a special group that's coming in to talk about the treatment, the therapy needed. How do you treat the storm? How do you treat a person during the storm? How do you heal from the storm? So they have a special meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. They have a team. Ephesus has a team that they sit down. It's almost big as the Red Cross. And that's one thing Frankie learned through this process.
So Facebook, everybody, you're hearing this now. Facebook your friends. It starts at 6 p.m. tonight at Ephesus, located on the corner of 10th and Castle Street. Right. They're going to be having a workshop on tonight dealing with the stress of Hurricane Florence. Mm-hmm. And so these folks are coming in from New York. And everybody's chiming in saying, you know, that this is great information for our community. But let's go ahead and call Market North, Cape Fair Apartments, New Providence, all of those areas. Even now, as quiet as it is kept, they have a whole dorm section at UNCW that was displaced. Mm-hmm. But nobody's saying that. Why? Because they were able to take care of their own within the system. But with us, we are really taking care of ourselves first and not looking for somebody else to do it.
We got to do that.
And let me ask tonight, I hope that I think that, especially for those at Market North, somebody needs to talk to them about the process of eviction,
right?
You know, so they know. I mean, they know that even though you may not get out by the deadline, know your rights, because I would not go quietly into the night if I knew that I could stay here another 35, 40 days. You're going to already ruin my credit and mess me up anyway. I might as well stay. Or you could give me that $500 when I leave Thursday, and let's just call it even.
Gotta negotiate.
So I know we got to go. I don't know how much time we got, but I just want to mention again. So Community Helping Hands, we're going to be asking you to go to the website and register. I'll be sending information out to your pastors, to your leaders. We're looking at Saturday at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., asking people to sign up in 3-hour increments. It takes about 3 hours and 6 people in a truck to move one apartment. We got 53 apartments that we're trying to move. On Sunday, I'm asking pastors, listen, don't stop your service, but maybe cut out 10 folks and say, listen, y'all going over and y'all serve the community today and show them the love of Jesus or the love of your God, whomever that may be. But let's get out and let's help our community.
And we're going to be doing this again on tomorrow at 1 o'clock. So at 1 o'clock on tomorrow, that'll be right after No Covers. Again on tomorrow, we're going to do the same show again on Friday. And we want some other pastors to join us this time. Don't just sit down and wait. Well, it's not in my backyard. We need you to come in and volunteer your people to come in and help and make this a reality. We're not charging for these shows. We're saying we're giving back to the community. Absolutely. Even though we know it's voting time, but we're going to take this time and give this back to the community and say we're going to put it on the air live, Facebook, social media is going to become our best friend.
All right, y'all tag everybody and let them know.
Do I get a picture like when I'm on the air with you guys? I mean, I can't get no picture. Come on, man. How am I to tell the people I was on the show?
They're going to know.
They're going to know.
You can bet that they already know that. You don't know cover show,
Lord Jesus. And look,
he went that rebel rouser.
He went with the rebel rouser, and I didn't get raked over the coast. Thank you, Jesus.
I'll have a good day.
Yeah, because he's seen into the community, so that's a good thing.
We'll be back tomorrow, y'all, at 12:30. There's no cover. Peace and blessings.
Well, your life depends on it. Your child's education depends on it. An affordable college education depends on it. And into